It's foggy, barely walk, but I feel like I'm jogging. Exhausted before the day has even started. I swear I'm trying my hardest, but regardless of my effort, my execution falls short. I just want to say F it. There's levels to this, trying to push through this, trying to move through it, trying to just do it. Building on the building blocks, aiming for the top, but I'm always stopped. No, it's not a simple fix. Things are broken, I'm trying to build momentum, but I'm feeling like I'm frozen, yeah. I know I'm chosen to do greater things, but lately I can barely breathe. God, I can barely breathe. God, I can barely breathe. God, I can barely breathe.
God, I can barely breathe.
Mind and body ain't working right, every day is a fight. Mind is foggy, every day I feel like I don't want to throw in the towel, but I feel like I'm living minute by minute, yeah, hour by hour, yeah. Mind and body ain't working right, every day is a fight. My mind is foggy, every day I feel like I don't want to throw in the towel, but I feel like I'm living minute by minute, yeah, hour by hour, yeah, yeah.
Minute by minute,
Minute by minute, yeah, hour by hour, yeah, yeah. Minute by minute, yeah, hour by hour. Trying to stand on my own too. I'm feeling so weak, they don't know what I go through. I took my health for granted, it's a year I'm trying to persevere, yeah. But I'm gripped by my own fear. Will it stay the same? Or will it never change? Doctors don't know what to do, they saying the same. Making good money, but it's all going down the drain. Spending wealth on my health, I'm feeling insane. Mind and body ain't working right, every day is a fight. My mind is foggy, every day I feel like I don't want to throw in the towel, but I feel like I'm living minute by minute, yeah, hour by hour, yeah. Mind and body ain't working right, every day is a fight. My mind is foggy, every day I feel like I don't want to throw in the towel, but I feel like I'm living minute by minute, yeah, hour by hour, yeah, yeah.
minute by minute,
Minute by minute, yeah, hour by hour, yeah, yeah. Minute by minute, yeah, hour by hour. I'm a high-intensity individual who lost my ability to function after contracting COVID 3 times. I don't know what it's like to be born with a debilitating disease, but I do know what it's like to contract a debilitating disease as a healthy adult. I know what it's like to be healthy, to feel fit, to process and execute multiple tasks and goals simultaneously, but then to be completely overtaken with the brain fog that's inexplicable and clouds everything. Unable to process the simplest thought or manage my emotions. Losing my ability to think and physically function is like, it's like a part of me has died. According to a press release from the CDC in July 2023, long COVID is broadly defined as signs, symptoms, and conditions that continue to develop after the initial COVID-19 infection. These symptoms can last weeks, months, or years. In my situation, it's been years. So my journey to this stage has been a difficult one, to say the least. Brain fog, body fatigue, it's been a fight, like the song says. But I'm a stubborn individual and I don't quit easily. So I simply pushed through the fatigue until I was hospitalized in the fall of 2021, completely unable to function. My body was so inflamed, I honestly felt like I was dying. My wife looked at me and said I looked like I was turning green, whatever that means. November and December were horrendous, as I could only function for 2 hours per day, and then I would sleep for the rest of the day. And when I mean function for 2 hours per day, I mean laying down like a zombie on the couch with my eyes barely open. Lights and sounds assaulted my senses. I hated how I felt, and I was extremely irritable, and I hated who I'd become in this illness. And this hatred and hopelessness led to thoughts of suicide. My breaking point, January 2022. I can't function, I can't support my wife and daughters, and there's no solution in sight. So in pain and desperation, I cry out to God, asking for a miracle. I say, God, you got to do something here, man. If you don't come through, I'm done. No one can help me. And guess what happened next? I contracted COVID a third time. But this time was different. Ironically, I felt a sense of peace about the situation. I know what you're thinking, like, what? But I just knew God wasn't cruel, and I felt that there had to be a reason for why this was happening. I mean, The statistical probability of me praying that prayer and contracting COVID a third time, highly unlikely. Right? I like that laugh too. You're right. It's highly unlikely. It's laughable. Hindsight, though, in hindsight, it was perfect timing. I had gained 20 pounds, which meant I was overweight. Because I was overweight, I was considered high risk. Because I was high risk and contracted COVID a third time, I was offered a specialized treatment, which was monoclonal antibody treatment. This treatment worked wonders. Now, to clarify, this wasn't the treatment from some IV bag. This was some type of injection they gave me. I was over at Billings Clinic. It was amazing. Within 2 weeks of getting that treatment, it was no longer available in the U.S. So I guess you can say I got treatment and I got sick at exactly the right time to get the treatment I needed. Before the treatment, I was operating at about 5% of my capacity. After the treatment, I felt like I was operating at about 50%. Within 2 weeks, I went up to Red Lodge and went snowboarding. I mean, that's nothing short of a miracle, right? I'm bursting with enthusiasm and excitement. Like, if I can go from 5 to 50, then maybe I can go from 50 to 100. Let's go. I mean, it's only been 2 weeks, right? The way I felt was like the way the New York Jets fans felt when they signed Aaron Rodgers. Like, we got him signed. We got him on the team. Let's go. Bursting with enthusiasm and excitement, and he gets in the first game and tears his Achilles within the first few plays. And that anger, frustration, disillusionment is about 1/100th of how I felt after I got to 50% and couldn't move past that point. I tried a lot of things. So before you bombard my wife after this talk, just please know I've tried a lot of things. My wife is a nurse and a naturopath as far as her health coaching, so I have the best of both worlds. I spent thousands and thousands of dollars on alternative treatments, looking for monoclonal in Mexico or anywhere else I could find it, and it wasn't available, just hoping to move the needle. I couldn't, so I was frustrated, and that's why I wrote this song. I didn't write this song for you. I wrote this song because I was angry and because I needed to process my pain, and that's my form of therapy. That young girl up here is my oldest daughter. She also has long COVID. She's had parosmia for over 2 years, where she can't smell or eat certain foods. Being a teenage girl is hard enough, let alone not being able to smell and eat the right foods. So it's been rough for her, and she's had fatigue as well. So for both of us to be on stage, pretty amazing. So I'm frustrated. I write the song. I reach out to my sister. My sister also has long COVID. She has it so bad, she's on disability. And she tells me, you should reach out to some groups and get support. And I'm like, I'm a pretty proud guy, but I'm like, all right, I'll humble myself and join some groups on Facebook. So I joined some groups, and I ended up being profoundly impacted by what I read. I was encouraged by all the people who were going through what I was going through. The hardest thing about this illness is everybody has an opinion about COVID, right? And it's usually emotional, and it's charged, so talking about the topic is difficult enough. Everybody gives well-meaning advice about what we should do. I'm from a high-octane industry where people sell and do business, and those guys and women look at me like, maybe you're just milking it because I got COVID and it wasn't a big deal. Or the worst is when they look at me and they say, oh, maybe you're just getting old. That infuriated me because I'm not that old, first of all, and I was hiking 10 miles on the rims right before I got this. So that wasn't the case. But it infuriated me. So to be in a group of people who validated, who heard me, I didn't feel like I was crazy. I read a story about a young mom. Can wake up, she has her toddlers, all she can do is a load of laundry, and she's wrecked for the rest of the day. How do you raise a family? How do you keep a marriage? A young man from Singapore reached out to me, told me he wanted to take his life. In that culture, taking care of your elders, duty, honor, respect is paramount. And here he is, and his elders are taking care of him in his early 30s. Do you know what kind of shame and humiliation he feels? He would rather die than deal with that. Does that make sense? So it was overwhelming to read those things, and I was encouraged, but I was horrified by the amount of people who were struggling. But I noticed something. As I entered the suffering of others, I began to feel something very unique. I'm not a neurologist. I don't know why this happened, but I started feeling alleviation of my own personal suffering. Not in full, but in part. And I stepped in and asked myself, what can I do to contribute to this community of people who are suffering? I can help them with something. I don't have a lot to give in my own illness. And that's when I decided to take this song, make it into a song, put it into a music video, distribute it on digital outlets, put it on Facebook, and share it with people. And that helped a lot. So it was extremely difficult. It was extremely difficult to process through that. But being able to do that, one of the women told me, she reached out to me and she told me, she said, what you did in that song helped me wake up every morning and keep going. And little did she know that that's what woke me up every morning and helped me keep going. So I don't know what you're suffering with. I don't know if you have a self-inflicted wound that you hate yourself for because it's self-inflicted. If you have an external circumstance that's pressing in on you that you have no control of. If you have long COVID and you realize, oh, well, maybe that's what I got. If you got a chronic illness, autoimmune disorder, you're suffering from something, and you're ready to throw in the towel, I want to tell you, you have value, you have intrinsic worth, and to hang in there and don't give up. When I chose to make the most of my situation, that's when my life changed. Now, to make it clear, my life isn't perfect. I struggle every day, but it's changed. When I chose to make the most of the 50% I had instead of the 50% I didn't, that's when things took off. That's when I started a motivational speaking company. That's why I'm here in front of you, TEDx. That's when I started coaching. I coached a few executives of multi-million-dollar companies. That's when I grew my market in a company I was working for by 278% with less time, less energy, and less resources. And that's when I produced a short film with my buddies in the film industry, which was a short film. I executive produced it, acted in it a little bit, and wrote it, and we added music. It was cool. It was a cool experience. But I did all that in my illness. Now, maybe you're sitting here like, well, that's great. I'm not high octane. I can't think about moving mountains. I can barely manage the next minute, the next moment. I get it. I've been there. So my encouragement to you is to do a few things. One, reach out for support. Reach out to a community and be honest. Find people who are suffering like you and reach out, whether it be online or whether it be in person. Two, allow people to support you. Allow yourself to be supported. And I believe as you enter the suffering of others, you may just find that your suffering is alleviated. Not in full, but in part. And three, find a way to contribute. I believe it's a process as you enter the community, as you enter your suffering, you will want to try to contribute in some way. Big or small. I believe every person in this room, no matter what you've done, no matter what guilt you have, no matter what frustration you have about your life, even in your worst state, you have something to contribute to society. So I'll leave you with this. I told myself, if I can just get here on this stage and not give up, if I can just make it through 21 months and stand on this stage in front of you, then maybe you won't give up. And if I can help 1 to 2 people keep fighting, then I fulfilled my purpose. But maybe you're that one there, that skeptic that's like, you don't know how bad it is, Nate. You have no idea how bad it is. Maybe I don't. But maybe you're primed for a miracle. I mean, if you're looking for a sign from God, consider me his billboard. I want you to know that I love you. I see you. You're not alone. Get support. Hang in there and keep fighting. I'm rooting for you. God bless.